Welcome to Deep Sky Deep Skydiving. Deep, deep. But here we are, deep skydiving.
Yeah.
Deep skydiving, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
The podcast. How did we do it last time? Not like that. That feels weird.
That's exactly how we did it.
Really? It feels weird.
I don't know.
All right, let's go before the Father.
Dad, we thank you. We are here once again. And we know you ain't tired of hearing from us, so
No.
You actually love it. So we thank you. I know you want to hear how much we thank you, how much we love you.
Yes.
Well,
Love you, Lord.
we do love you, and we're glad that you love us because
Yes.
we done
Lord,
been through
thank
some
you.
mess. We done been through some mess, and you've seen us through it. So we always will be thankful, Father. I mean, can't thank you enough. If you stop doing things now, you already did too much. So, again, we thank you. Even for getting us through this hot day. Forgive me for if I may have complained, if we have complained or said some things we shouldn't have said, done some things we shouldn't have done. Forgive us. But we always want to stay in a state of gratitude, Father. We know that's where it's always up from there, Father. Learn how to be content, learn how to be thankful, and just have gratitude, Father. And so we want to stay right there, and we want to teach your people how to be there also.
Yes.
And I thank you for even people in my life where I've seen, they was like, man, I'm just grateful. Even though I don't have what I have, what I want to have, they was in places where they said, I'm just grateful. And I've just seen them soar and step up, seen you do mighty things in their lives. And so we expect the same in our life, Father. You already done mighty things, so I know you'll do even more mighty things, Father. But right now, this podcast, things we'll talk about, be with us in our speech, be with us even with our thoughts, Father. Let them honor you. I don't want to say something controversial just for controversy's sake, Father. I want to say things that honor you, Father, but I also want to be truthful to who I am. We want to be truthful to who we are. So
Yes.
even guide our tongues, Father, and be with us in our intentions. Show us your light, man. You show up in this podcast. I thank you for being a perfect Father,
Thank you,
perfect
Lord.
God,
Thank
perfect Creator, perfect Protector, perfect Provider, all of that, Father. I can't run down a whole line of everything that you've been for us, but I just thank you. We honor you. Let this be the best episode yet. Your son, Yahushua, name I ask you all these things, King. Amen.
Amen. Welcome to another episode of Deep, Deep, Deep Skydiving.
She love.
I do. I really throw myself into that intro.
And it's cool.
Thanks for that. What's up, everybody?
What it do?
How you feeling?
Man, I feel good.
AJ, check in. Any new updates?
Nah.
Any new things to
good.
share?
Yeah, it's hot. That's what
It is hot. I
Hot.
feel like we be asking for it to be hot when it's cold.
I never was.
You
I
never
knew it
asked
was
for
going to be
heat?
like this. Everybody was complaining about the cold. I was like, man, you
But
can't
we really,
do nothing.
the wild part is like we really did not have any bad weather during the winter. Like we really didn't even have a winter.
We kind of
It was
didn't.
a very
we had like
strange
one little
fall.
bit of snow. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a
Yeah.
fall into spring.
It's like an extreme fall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like seriously.
And people still complain. Like people complain about the cold. I'm like, man, you crazy. You can put clothes on in this cold. When it's hot, I couldn't
You
get.
can't take enough clothes off.
Can't take enough off. Can't take
Yeah.
the skin off. Man,
And you be wanting to too.
I be wanting to
I can't
cry.
stand when I can't breathe.
I be wanting to cry.
Yeah.
I hate the freaking heat, man.
Yeah, I feel that.
But
Like,
I'm thankful though. Like I said, I'm grateful.
yeah, because I
I'm
do enjoy the
alive in it.
summer. I think I'm a summer baby one, but I really do enjoy the summer.
But I think it's because of what I do.
Yeah,
So
it definitely is because of what you do.
I'm laboring in the heat.
We had the shop door open today because,
Y'all crazy.
No, I didn't want it open. The AC was on. I was just like, it's not one of those like spring fun days where you have the door open because the sun's shining and you just want like a little air. It was no air. It was literally stifling today. And I was just like, what is happening? Like, so I couldn't breathe through my mask because we still wear our masks while we are working so closely with the clients.
So freaking humid.
Oh my gosh. I was like, can we close this door? Like,
Please?
so if you feel like that every day, I would have cried too.
It's humid. And I'm inside a building with walls, ceilings up, everything. So it's even hotter.
No way.
It's about 100 degrees in the building.
No way.
Yeah.
Kudos to you.
Are you cold?
Shut up. No, I'm good.
All right, cool. I'm gonna
Um,
turn it up a little bit anyway.
so we're here on another episode. We are coming from a different location, a special location, as you can see. But grateful to be here for sure. Our last episode was on mental health and just how can we be supportive of our significant others.
Yep.
Did you have anything that you wanted to say about that?
About
Any
men.
wrap ups? Anything that any conversations that you had in regards to that?
The mental health conversation. Nah, I didn't.
Okay. I feel like, I feel like we did what we needed to do or what we could
Yeah.
do,
Well,
and,
yeah.
without having, a professional here on the show.
Right.
Again, we could always, say more about being apologetic about anybody who we offended. But of course, there's really not much that we can do about offending
Yeah.
people, right? Like we just had to tackle what we knew about. So hopefully, that did start a conversation though with you all, with your significant others, or even just about yourself.
Period. Yeah.
I know I did have a conversation with my goddaughter in regards to just mental health, some things that she had been dealing with, and I think the biggest thing that came from it, and I believe I said this in the conversation that we had, but the biggest thing that I said was just making sure that you don't allow yourself to stay in that darkness.
Yeah.
I cannot stress that enough. What you want to do is just continue to like find a safe space where you can get that thing out, because you don't want
Yeah.
those things to fester, and you don't want,
You gotta find a light in your life.
yeah,
You gotta
yeah.
look for that. It's hard when you're in those situations. Like all you see is what's bad, what's
Yep.
negative. It's hard to even want to look for the light because you just kind of want it to light up on its own.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that was our
understand it.
conversation on mental health. This week's
I do have
conversation.
I do have some recap that I missed though.
What's that? What's that?
From the Triggers episode.
Okay, go ahead. It was something that you needed to say.
Yup.
Go ahead. What?
So
I'm not reading your mind right now.
I know you're not.
Oh, okay.
I'm still waiting on, because I found you was right. It's a trigger.
What?
I'm still waiting on my evidence that I made you an afterthought.
Oh. I don't have anything.
I know,
Because you're saying that it didn't happen.
because I'm saying that it didn't happen.
Okay. And I am for one person who I'm able to say, okay, well then it didn't happen then.
Thank you.
Okay. That's how it's done, folks.
That's how it's done. Make it work.
Make it work.
But I do want to unpack something
What's
just
that?
real briefly
Sure.
with that, because I'm not saying you do this, but I have experienced this in different relationships where I guess I'm triggered, and I'm not going to lash out or anything, but it triggers me. Something will change. You will notice something's off when I feel like somebody's lying on me. Like if I feel like you accusing me of something that I didn't do or that I'm not doing, or maybe it's like you said, we have this perspective in our mind. We run through a whole story in our mind about something that the other person doesn't know about, or something may have happened and may have sent you on that process, and now it seems like this was the actual reality of it, but it wasn't. And so when it's verbalized to me like, hey, you did this, and I'm like, no, I didn't. Like I don't remember it because one, it wasn't my intentions, or two, it didn't happen. And so I get triggered because it'll send me into a deep thought. Like I'm really trying to analyze everything that happened to see if I did this. And I'm gonna say the only reason it triggered me because the love I have for you. And so I was like, there's no way that I treated her like an afterthought. And so it made me real life. I didn't search through my messages or anything, but I just had to go and think like, is there an instance that maybe I might have done it? But I can't say that there was. And so it didn't trigger me to where I was like, I ain't talking to her no more, or I'm gonna look at her differently because of this. It was really something that made me have to check myself even more, and it cast a doubt on myself, and I was like, nah, this ain't it. I meant to ask you again before, but it kept slipping my mind. That's why I said I'm gonna put this in my notes.
Gotcha.
So I remember.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I want to apologize if that was, something that triggered you because it wasn't my intention. It was just something like, and I guess this is like a teachable moment because while you're going through everything that you've done to kind of like debunk what I've said, um, I think what's more important is that, again, something you just highlighted was the narrative that we've told ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So it may not have seemed like that was the case for you,
Yeah.
but it was the case. It seemed like it was the case for me. But what I said was, it wasn't something that's triggering to me. Like, I'm not triggered by that type of language. Like, oh, I was headed to da 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 da. So did you want to go too? Like, I'm already headed there. So I was just thinking, would you like to go? Right. So maybe in your world, that's not really an afterthought. Like, to you, it's just like, no, like, I just thought about it and that's, so that's what I want to do. And you were actually the first thought of the person who I would like to go with me.
Yeah.
Whereas, for somebody like myself, it could be, well, when you formulated the plan, I wasn't something that you like. I wasn't a part of the plan. It was just something that you decided to add on to after the fact.
Yeah.
To me, that could be an afterthought. But because the teachable moment part is that you don't have to wreck your brain about what has happened to me, what I felt like has happened to me, right? Especially
it happened to me.
Huh? It
happened to me.
Okay.
So it might not bother you, but the fact that I did it bothers me.
Okay.
Because it's something like I don't ever want that to be the case. Even if it doesn't bother you, I don't ever want that to be the case. If that makes any sense.
It does. I do.
Yeah.
I feel like, me personally, I feel like it's undue suffering because it's one of those situations where you can't control how I feel about something that you do, because then you'll always you're constantly walking on eggshells trying to figure out if I feel like you've somehow put me as an afterthought. And I don't again, I never took it as intention. Like, I know that your intentions are, you want to look out for me. Like, I never would think that was something that you did on purpose. And again, the reason why it came up in conversation was because of someone else's trigger.
Yeah.
And so they felt triggered by that, which to me, it's like, how is that triggering when, if a person thought of you at all, like that, to me, that's enough.
Than not being thought of at all.
That's it, right? But something has happened in their lives where that's like, a huge thing. But yeah, no, I appreciate that. I appreciate that you said that. I do. Like I said, it's a huge apology. Like, I'm super sorry. That was something that, you thought of, because I know your love for me. I know that you would never, intentionally do something like that to, make me feel that way.
Yeah.
So, but cool. Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
That's it.
It's 8:28.
Hey, birthday time. Birthday time. All right, so our next topic is gender roles. Gender roles.
Yep.
Gender roles. So
let's get to it.
You know what I find interesting? So this, I don't even know whose topic this was. It really doesn't matter. But what I found interesting about this was, one, that I didn't have any strong feelings about it. Like, how something stirs in your spirit, and you're like, ooh, this is gonna be a good conversation. I really didn't have any like strong feelings about gender roles, so I asked my clients. I thought that would be a cool thing to do. What I noticed, though,
tell me about it.
It's 2023. What I noticed,
I'm probably going to oppose this.
Okay, let's see. Let's see what happens. Is that when I said, what do you feel about gender roles? My small little brain was like, and mind you, I'm only asking people who are in relationships, right? My small, tiny little brain was like, I'm thinking that these people are going to come out with how they are in their relationships.
Yeah.
But you know what they went to?
What?
LGBTQIA plus, right? Their thing was, well, I don't have a problem with gender. I don't have and I'm thinking like,
because that's what, when you hear gender now, I guess that's what it triggers that thought.
Yes.
Because that's what's being pushed so much right now.
Like, literally, my last client that I asked, that I had to bring him back because I was like, thank you for sharing. And I never interrupt people like, no, that's not what I meant. Nah. Because I want to see where they're going to go.
Yeah.
That's just like how my compassion level. Like, I'm just that person. Like, I want to know where you're going to go with your mind, because also it might help me to then bring up something that, needs to be talked about. So that was pretty interesting, and I just wanted to start off there, like just put that
Right.
down. Like I was thinking, like the way in which you function in your relationships,
Yeah.
and then they were talking about something completely different, but also that falls under this too. So I guess we'll touch on both.
Yeah. I want to see how that falls under this.
Right,
I
me
actually,
too.
in my thought process yesterday, I actually did kind of allude to the uh, alphabet gang, the LGBT, and the other letters. But it wasn't. I don't. I doubt it's in the instance that he did. I doubt it's synonymous to the. It's a he, right? That said it.
It was a few he's.
So yeah. So
Yeah.
I doubt that if I'm going to speak on it in the same way that they did.
Okay.
But let's go.
Okay. So
So what were you thinking when you hear gender roles? I'm pretty sure
so
we probably think alike.
So when
Yeah.
I thought about gender roles, I was thinking about man and woman, right? I was thinking about
Right.
them being in a relationship, and then how performative wise they are in the relationship.
Right.
So by roles, I mean what parts do you play within your relationship,
Right.
being the gender that you are.
Yeah.
That was it.
That was it.
But it was like
Pretty much. It can't. It's not that simple anymore.
It's not that simple
yeah,
anymore.
Yeah. In the
And it's okay. Like
2023.
I can acknowledge that, right?
Yeah.
Like we are not living in, those times.
But that was my biggest thing.
Yeah.
In my own mind, when I was going, that was my biggest thing. Like it needs to be. Like it should be that simple. That's why when I had alluded in my thought process, when I thought this thing out, when I alluded to the LGBTQ and all of that, it messed up the order of that because now you have all of this to consider. And hopefully it'll make more sense as we go into it with the things that I'm saying. But it's just like, if you have gender roles, you have male and female, man and woman gender roles in this, right? Because I do believe that there are gender roles. I do believe that there are things that men are more inclined to do, that areas of strength that they're probably better at doing. And I believe that there are things that women are more inclined to do that women are better at doing. And I believe that they should execute in those assignments or in those roles because it is what strengthens relationships. It is what is supposed to help make things more sturdy, make things more foundational, make things more progressive in society. And when I was going to the whole LGBTQ and everything, I was like, you have nothing to really stack on. You can't say, hey, you're strong at this, because you don't even want to be that anymore. Like you saying, I identify as this, so I can't even use my God-given strengths because I just don't want to be that. And I was like, I don't want to keep going too far in my mind with.
Well, no, that's a good conversation. Like I think that's a good conversation to have. I think we'll get there, and I want us to go there when it's time for us to get there. But just to bring it back, because I think it'll go to like what we talked about when you don't have that sort of level of foundation, how like it does start getting messy, right?
Yes.
And not to call anybody's like
words.
messy, right? I'm just saying like it's just one of those things where just like we talked about, what was it called? You said it. You said, oh, unconscious boundaries and conscious boundaries or something like that. It was a word that you use. Like they like basically when you unconsciously set a boundary, and it's like you kind of get in the gray when you talk about things like that because I can't be held accountable for something that don't say. Like of course there are things that can be implied, but also I don't have there. If there's no rule that you tell me, then I can't say, okay, well, I'm not going to do that. I can tell myself that, but that doesn't mean that that's something that you know what I mean, will acknowledge or whatever the case. So we'll go there. But I wanted to know, you said something.
Hold your thought
ahead.
real quick. Don't forget. I just want to throw this disclaimer out.
Okay.
Because of my faith and my foundation, I do not agree with LGBTQ lifestyle. But I will apologize ahead of time for this because my language and my delivery is not the most graceful. So if I do say anything that sounds insensitive, I do not have intent to be malicious.
The thoughts and views
or anything. Yeah. So my intents are not to be malicious, to hurt anybody's feelings or anything. This is just strictly coming from my foundation and my principles. And I'll do my best to not sound insensitive or sound like I'm attacking.
But guess what?
But
I, Darah, can love you anyway, regardless of how you say it,
yeah,
regardless of who's
yeah.
hurt, regardless if I'm hurt. I can still love you
Well,
at
thank you.
the end of the day. I think
All right.
that's my disclaimer. So
Not
there's
everybody
that.
can though, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to say something on this episode, and the internet will probably chew me up.
Okay.
Say I really don't care, but I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. But hope you didn't forget your thought.
I didn't.
All right.
I was gonna go just back to the original conversation or what you were originally saying, which was basically about uh, the gender roles themselves. Like, because I know I said what I thought, but what are your thoughts about
The
what gender roles are? Same
same
thing.
exact thing. Yeah, so I
Okay.
just believe women have strengths that they are supposed to capitalize on, and that men have strengths that they are supposed to capitalize
Thank you
on.
for going there because that's where I wanted to
Yeah,
start. Can you give us just a rundown of like those things that you've collected? I guess.
I don't know all those things, but
Well, just some
I'll say
things
this:
if you
the first
can.
things that come to my mind are so we're both protectors, but men are protectors of the whole of the family unit. We're both nurturers, but women are more nurturing. They're more of a nurturer than men are when it comes to like the upbringing of children. And even women nurture. You even nurture your husband in a certain to a certain degree. We we don't. That's not really our strength to do. So I heard this dude. I wish I could say I made this up, but I didn't. And it was some guy from another podcast. I heard him say this, and I was like, man, he said that so beautifully, and I was thankful for it. And this is no shot at women, right? Like I said, it's not. What we're doing is gender roles exist. I do believe they exist to build and strengthen the unit. Period. It's not to pit us against each other.
Right.
And so nothing I'm saying is against women or anything, right? But there's a statistic, and I'm gonna get to what the dude said. There's a statistic that says, and this is on like census. I want to say it's census website, census.org, whatever it is, census.gov website. I looked up all of these myself, so I know that it's true. There's several different websites, but the statistics show that more people incarcerated and with mental health and poor, destitute, more people are likely to end up in that situation that are raised in single mother homes than people that are raised with both parents in the home. Now, the statistic that was crazy is that it says more people are less likely to end up in incarcerated that are raised in single father homes than in single mother homes. But the numbers are almost identical when it comes to people raised in single father homes and people raised with both parents in the home. So it's saying it's your higher risk of being incarcerated if you're raised just by your parent, just by your mother.
Your mom.
But whether you're raised by just your father or both parents, it's almost the same. And so there's something to say about a man being in that household. And this is what the guy said. I said that for a reason. This is what the guy said. He said women teach their daughters how to be a woman, and they teach their sons how to be an adult. He said men teach their daughters how to be ladies, and he teach their sons how to be men. And I don't want to butcher it, but he said something. He said, because men teach their daughters chastity and something else. And he said, and he teach their sons discipline, integrity. And he was just going down the line. And I was sat there and I think about it because I wanted to oppose it. I always try to oppose things first before I agree with it, even my own thoughts, just so I could, I weigh the pros and cons. I agree this much, I disagree this much. And I really sat there and I thought about it and I was like, dang, I don't even know if he gave it that much thought, but I was like, dang, what he said is true. Like there's certain things that women instill in their kids, and there's certain things that men instill in their kids. And I say that because I do believe that's a part of gender roles. Like it is, like even in the scriptures, it says the older women teach the younger women how to be women, basically, like how to be modest, how to adorn themselves, how to be wives. They teach the younger women how to be wives. Like that's a role. That's legit a role. Like older men teach the younger men how to do these things. That's legit a role that you will eventually grow into. But I do feel that, and I do believe that they're 100% necessary. But I do feel that we both have roles in relationships as genders, not just as AJ and Darah, but as AJ being a man, Darah being a woman. Like, because of who we are, who we were born, what God put in us, we do have roles that I should keep. If this is my strength, I should. It's my duty to capitalize on this thing. And if this is what you're able to do better than I am, then it's your duty to capitalize on those things. Not just for you, but for me. It's my duty to capitalize on my strength for you. And it's your duty to capitalize on your strength for me. It's not just for us.
Yeah, I mean, I want like I'm like you, like I want to oppose, but I really don't have any opposition to that. And it's just like if you really think about it, like the only reason why a lot of people go smack at things like that is because of them feeling personally attacked by the fact that they have raised children on their own. We're not coming for you, single moms.
Yeah.
We're not. We're also not praising a single dad any higher than, you know, you
Not at
doing
all.
the best that you can with what you have. Like nobody is. You know, you're not a horrible person because, you know, the father of your children passed away or he didn't want to be there or, you know what I mean, because of choices or decisions. Like you're not a bad person because of that. So it's never a personal attack. What we're saying is based off of, you know, the statistics, right? Like based off of, you know, how things seem. And I, you know, ladies, y'all can, for the ones who have sons, right? Because you know my living situation right now. I am literally watching a young boy be raised by a single mom, and I realize that there are certain things that she can say. She might hurt his feelings, but the little boy is a boy, 100%, right? All boy. We're not talking effeminate. We're not talking like any of that. No sass, no nothing, right? That little boy is not listening to her. He finds everything that she says funny. And the only time that he doesn't is because his feelings are hurt, one, or because he's been, you know, physically punished in some way. Now, mind you, she's not a very physical person, you know, at all. Like neither of us are. I'm not a physical person. I don't like hitting kids, right? But at the end of the day, I know the difference from when a man says something to him and when I say something to him or when his mom says something to him.
I've seen it.
Everybody knows about the daddy voice. But the thing is, it doesn't have to do with the depth of his voice. It has to do that he is the one that's saying it.
Period.
And people say daddy voice, but it really can just come from you. Like you're a godfather, right? But as soon as you say something, he's like, you know what I mean? But with us, it's like very flow, easy, da 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 da. I'm not gonna do that. You're not the boss of me, da 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 da. Talking like that, right? The language is different. I know that he's different with his dad, right? Even the way in which things are carried on in his home with his dad are different, right? So I'm not here to debunk that because I don't think that there is a problem with, you know, the statistics, like the things that are true. And I think that that is the reason your son will listen to you. And like you said, you can make him a great adult, but he's not a man because of you.
Yeah, because you don't have what it takes to instill with men what men need.
Right.
And it's 100% true what you say. I remember we was over your cousin's mom house, I believe, I think. And your cousin's son, you know how he is. And jumping around, doing what he do. And I was like, hey, come sit right here beside me, man. You know, let's talk. And he sit down, quiet, he respond to what I asked him to and everything, and was chill. And that's not him.
Yeah.
But it is something where young boys respond to a man's voice. I mean, they're going to respond to their fathers more because that's who they, like, that's our idol. That's your idol growing up. Especially that's the first man you seen. That's the one you spend most of your time with. That's your hero. But they're going to respond to a man's voice, period. Like a real man. I ain't talking, not a little sassy punk that crybaby man.
But even
not saying like gay, but I'm just saying.
But even them though, it's still, there's still a level of respect that that's comes from a woman's voice. Yes, it is. I've seen kids, like girl kids and boy kids, unravel from hearing their mother say, "I'm gonna call your father." Unwrap, like literally become undone. No, don't call daddy. And it's like she never even intended to do it, but it's the fact that she can't get them to get like together unless she threatens to call him, and it's just a call. It's not even him actually being there. It's I'm gonna tell your father.
Don't tell
daddy. No, please. please don't, no, no, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that that's something to put on the table, right? So
Right.
I cannot disregard that. That is something that is real.
Yes.
And if that's what we're talking about, then yes, I do believe in gender roles, right? Um, I I
Before
think
we, are
that.
you about to
Go
shift?
ahead. Go ahead.
No, nah, go ahead. If you're not about to shift, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna add something to it, but you can finish up where you were. I'm
Nah,
not gonna
I was
forget
about to
where.
add something also,
Go
but you can
ahead.
go. No, ladies first. I love you.
Well,
Go ahead.
it was kind of gonna pivot, so
All
I don't want to
right.
take it
So
away
no, it
from.
made me think about while I'm sitting here thinking about those gender roles, about the nurturer and the man that instills discipline and integrity and everything. It made me think about Joaquin and Chanel. And so one of the episodes you hear Joaquin talking about, his wife coddles his daughters, and he's like, "You can't do that." And I'm sitting here, I'm like, "That's exactly what she's supposed to do." Like, there's a balance. They need that. You're the
Yep.
way you are with them, and she's the way she is with them. Both are needed. There just has to be. I don't like saying a balance because there's never like you can't say like you coddle them like 3 times. I'm gonna I'm gonna speak with a stern voice three
Yeah.
times, and it should be, I'm not saying that, but what you bring to them is going to help harden whatever needs to be hardened, and what she brings to them is going to help soften whatever needs to be softened. Because for one, your kids are half of you, half parent, like half your mother, half your father. So they're going to be able to receive what it is that you're delivering to them, regardless. If you're doing it in love, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people, are doing it in love. We're not perfect, but still.
Yeah.
But there's that. It made me think of that. Like, there's definitely that balance. You hear Joaquin like, yeah, she keeps coddling. I'm telling them, no, they're gonna have to learn. They got to do it. If they get it wrong, they just get it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on the other side of things, that like there is that like level of well-roundedness that comes from having a mom in your life,
Yes.
that a lot of men can tell you they're missing, like when they grow, become, when they do become
Yes.
men, even if they were raised in a house with a father, right? They may be on a good track, but there are a lot of things that they're missing, right?
Yeah.
There's that nurturing aspect, there's that,
He said that.
softer side of things.
He
Yeah.
said not having his mom, it made him not understand like how to receive love or how to love like women. Yeah, he said that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
And those are
both.
important. So that's
Yeah.
why I'm like, again, when you watch this, just make sure that you're asking yourself, am I upset at the fact that, this is wrong, or am I upset because I feel personally attacked? Because I am a good person. I was raised by a single mom, and I'm a good dad. That's not what we're saying. You know what I mean? We're not saying that, right? And there's exceptions to every rule too, right?
Yes.
And so that's what I was gonna say. Basically, it's just that like I feel like there are going to be so many individuals who may watch or who may listen, who are the exceptions, right?
Yeah.
Or who can say, oh well, I came from a single parent home and I'm a really good man, and it's just like nobody said that you weren't.
Yeah. So, and this is a thing also, and I have this conversation often with men. I don't have it with women because it's not my, that's not my fight. But I have this conversation often with men because they say, I don't think that has anything to do with it, this and that. I was raised by a single mom. My father died very young. I was raised, if I'm telling you this, it's because I know
Right.
something.
There you go.
And I'm not saying that I'm not trying to go off this anecdotal experience. Like, I don't say things just because I experience. I watch it. I see. I know that there are things that men instill in boys. You can pick up whatever it is that you want to pick up, but there are things that men impart into young boys.
Yep.
That if you do not have that relationship, there are certain things that you will lack. My my man from around the way, he had made this Facebook post talking about something, saying men are supposed to lead, not match females' energy. And everybody was saying these things on it, and I said these exact words. Same thing we're talking about. I said it's because you talking to a generation that was raised by their moms. He said, I don't think that had anything to do with it. I said, okay. I'm not gonna argue with it. Just look at this. Look at your grandfathers. Look at people that was from the 70s and back. Look at most of our fathers. Look at your grandfathers. Look at them before that. Did they match energies? Did they match female energy? He said, he was like, I ain't never even think about that. But now I'm thinking about it. He was like, I said, women, and this is no shot at them, they're unconsciously raising the men that they despise. It's because you don't have what it takes to build this boy into a man. And I'm not saying you're doing a terrible job providing for him. You're not doing a terrible job making sure he's in the good schools. You're not doing a terrible job making sure he eats. But they're just something that you just don't have because it's not in your role to give him what he needs to become a man. And sometimes it may be little subtle things like this guy, he doesn't know how to go without getting his way. It's small little subtle things that we don't notice. Like God had to deal with me about something. I was 26, 27 years old. He had to deal with me like, you sitting here, I'm not sitting here crying and kicking stuff down the street and everything, but he's like, you sitting here pouting, you in your feelings because your mother wouldn't sign off for something for you. He was like, you 26 years old, you a man. Why are you in your feelings? Because she won't do that. You supposed to be responsible. You go, you do it. You go get it. You don't need no coach. And I didn't need a co-signer. I just thought I did, but I'm sitting here, I'm in my feelings, and now I'm about to start doing things in my own anger and everything. I'm about to start going out, making reckless decisions. And he's like, you acting like a little girl right now. Like this ain't what men do. And it was lessons that I had to learn the hard way. And he was like, this not what men do. Check yourself. Check that at the door. And I don't want to see that again. Like, this is literally how God just spoke to me like that yesterday. Yesterday, I was coming home from work. This is aside from what we talking about. Coming home from work. And I said, God, because I had football practice. I had to coach. I was like, all right, I'm going to go home, hop in the shower. I'm going to run to at home. And he was like, go to at home first. And so I said, my God, I was sweating there. I said, I ain't even trying to go. I just want to get clean. He's like, all right, I lied to you not. He said, go ahead home and get in the shower. I lied. I heard this clear as day. He said, go ahead home, clean yourself up. He said, and do not cry about how things don't go your way when you on your way to that store. And I lied to you, I swear. And I don't swear to God enough, but I promise you. I left this house and everything started to like get in my way. People cutting me off. Everything started to go crazy. And I'm like, yo, what are you doing? And God was like, didn't I tell you? I don't want to. He talking to me like he my dad. Like, I don't want to hear not one. I swear this was yesterday, July 5th, 2023. He was like, I told you I don't want to hear none of that.
It wasn't July 5th. I'm just playing.
Whenever this comes out, it doesn't matter.
I'm just playing. Yeah. No, but no, I get it. Yeah.
I swear, and I heard the man's voice. I heard my father's voice. He said, I told you I don't want to hear none of that. Deal with what you're going to have to deal with because of your choices that you made. And it's my father's voice I'm hearing. My mother couldn't teach me that. Like, my mother is the most disciplined person I know. I don't know how she saved what she saves. Like, she ain't always been making good money, but she always was able to save. She was always say, I'm not going to get this. She exemplified delayed gratification. Like, she always showed, I'm not going to get this now. This is how much it costs. I'm just going to wait. It's going to go on sale soon. Watch. I remember her always saying that. It'll go on sale. I'm just going to wait. And she'd probably wait a couple weeks, maybe wait a couple months, and then get it on sale. She'd be like, look, I told you. I don't have that. Like, my mother, she's the type of person, like, you will want to be like her. Like, man, she got it together. And she just couldn't instill those things in me. She learned those things from a lot of that stuff from my father. Like, she learned how she wanted to start her own business and everything. But my father died young because that's the route he was going and everything. All the saving, what's it called? Certificate deposit, whatever it is. All the things that she was doing and investing and everything, she learned that from my father. And so it's in me, but I just didn't have that male figure to start cultivating that integrity, start to cultivate that discipline and the knowledge to give the wisdom for me to really latch on to it and to start, applying those things. And I'm not saying that's going to be everybody's situation, but there are little things that we are going to lack because we don't have that man to impart those things into us. Yeah. Not saying women are doing a terrible job out here. That's not what we're saying. We're just saying you just don't have what it takes.
Yeah. And I also feel like we did, so we talked about the exception. I just want to address something else that I was thinking about while you were where you were speaking. those individuals that we talked about that were the exceptions, because I know there were a lot of people, especially like boomers, the boomer generation, where there were like 12 of them, and
Yeah.
all of them did go to jail, and like, or horrible fathers, or they
Yeah.
have like a bunch of kids just scattered around.
Yeah.
One thing that I will say is, just because you have the gender doesn't mean you already are playing the role, right? So there are a lot of people who did have fathers in their homes, right? But they weren't playing the
Active.
role.
They were.
Yeah. So that's why you have those individuals who can be like, well, I had a daddy in the house, and that nigga,
Still
like, I
feel-
still went to jail. Like, what's up with you know what I mean? Like,
Well, you're
what's up
still
with that?
accountable for your own decisions that you make.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, exactly. But I just wanted to highlight that because
Yeah.
I know that there are going to be people who say that. Well, my auntie, you know, and my uncle, they all of them. My granddaddy was there, but it's like, was he though? Because I mean, there are a lot of people who they have the gender, but they don't have the role. So you are a man who lives in a home who had 13 children, right? Maybe 10 across town, right? But the point was that you may not have been there playing the role for any of them. You may have not have talked to any of your children. Now, mind you, don't stop, right? In a daddy voice is one thing, right? But sitting with your children, giving them attention, having conversations with your children, that's different. And so I like to attribute single momhood to my mom. But when I think about it, my mom was never a single mom. She was never a single mom. And not to take anything from you, mommy, right?
Yeah.
It's just not to say that you weren't a strong woman and all this other stuff, and you did get us together, right? But when my parents divorced, I was 14. But then we moved in with my grandfather. Still not single. Still not. There's still a man in the home.
Yeah. She's single in the essence
In
that
that,
she doesn't have a husband
married.
or a man. Yeah.
There you go.
But there was still a man
But
in the
there
home.
was still a man in the home. And then after that, my stepfather.
Yeah.
So I've always kind of had a man there. And like you said, they were able to teach me how to be a lady, but not because they told me, hey, listen, you're supposed to wear dresses and you're supposed to, get your nails
They treated
done
you
and
like
all
a
that stuff.
lady.
They treated me like a lady. That's it. My dad has always treated me like a lady. My stepdad has always treated me like a lady. My grandfather treated me like a lady. And it was subtle things, right? And then not even only that, did they treat me like a lady? I saw how they treated my mom, how they treat my mom, right? In the case of my stepfather, treats my mom like a queen, right? And rightfully so.
Yeah.
Thank you. But it's like, it's one of those things where those type of things, again, playing the role.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what you do. Like, don't just hold the gender, play the role. And I think that's, to me, where we can wrap this episode up, because
Wrap it up.
everything. No, I'm
Just
not
getting
saying
started.
like you're about to.
I'm about to say,
I'm not saying
yeah.
that, but I'm just saying, like, regardless of what gender you even identify with, even, right? If we're going to go to that route, you can call yourself whatever, right?
Yeah.
But are you playing the role?
You can't if you don't have it in you.
Exactly.
It's just like you can't. You could be born a woman
and
you
not
could
be a mother.
And you could call yourself a husband because you choose to identify as a man. And you still will not be able to do what a husband does for a wife. You still will not be able to do what a father does for his child.
It's some women who have children who don't have a nurturing bone in their body.
Yeah. And I do want to add something about that exceptions to the rule thing also. Because people, they love to say that. I was raised by my mom and I didn't end up like this.
Right.
Kudos.
Right. Great. Because God's grace is sufficient.
Right.
God has mercy on you.
I'm glad
Great.
you haven't. But what about the millions of others?
Yeah.
The statistics aren't statistics.
For no reason.
just to be statisticking.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
Statisticking.
But this is what I'll like to reply to that. It's better for you to have two parents in the home.
Right.
The chances of your being in stable mental health, being able to be a productive member of society is higher if you have both parents in the home. It's not to say that you're going to be a terrible person if you don't.
If you don't, right.
But your chances are better.
Yeah, that's it.
When you have both people in the house.
That's the long and short of it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't care if you, James Johnson, is the exception to the rule.
All right, James.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't even realize how better off you would have been
Yeah.
with two effective parents
Yeah.
in the household.
Right.
I'm glad you made it to where you made it.
Yes. And to
I'm
be an
good.
effective person be that now, like establish that now, like
Right.
if you can, right? Of course. But no, there's don't stick a fork in it. You that you're done just because you're a single mom at
Yeah.
this point, and now you have to raise, these
6.
yeah 6 kids or whatever. They're not going to necessarily be horrible people. They'll be great
Yeah.
adults. You can do a wonderful job with that. We're talking about you establishing a man, and that's not even in your purview. So,
Yeah.
okay. So
And
what
so
I was
just
gonna do to
something,
go ahead, go
just to
ahead.
sum that part, I would say those are gender roles because father, husband, mother, wife are assigned to genders.
Yeah,
Like a father is a man,
yeah,
a mother is a woman, a wife is a woman, a husband is a man. I just wanted to say that.
yeah. That's what their assigned
Yeah.
is. And what I was just gonna pivot to, go around that corner, right?
Let's do it.
Was to like
It's like
in
pivot like
relationship,
basketball.
like yeah. I was going to pivot to relationships.
Let's go.
And so I thought about like traditional, like we talked about when I did bring my clients back, we talked about traditional gender roles, and the traditional gender roles were like, man does this, woman does this in relationship. So just a couple things. Like one of my clients, he was talking about how his wife just does not touch the trash. She just does not do it. You and I have talked about that before, because your thing was if the trash smells, then you need to take it out. Like I don't like I get it that it smells. I
No,
get it that we've
I'm
established.
for the man taking out the trash.
Yeah, yeah. And that's remember,
Yeah,
but this was
if
a
I'm
while
not,
ago.
yeah, if I'm not able to do it, or if something happens where
Yeah, the trash
I'm
can
at
just
work
be
and it just
in.
has to go, yeah,
Yeah.
you
So
gonna sit
that's
here and
what.
let the household suffer because I'm not home?
Yeah, and that's
Yeah,
what his thing was. His thing was like my wife has literally like lived on her own before, so she's obviously taking out trash.
yeah,
But it's the fact that I'm here and I can do it. And he was like, I have no problem with that.
yeah.
He's like, that's kind of like my thing. Like I take out the trash.
Mm-hmm.
Then we talked about like one of my other clients, he was talking about like just how no longer or gone are the days where you have the stay at home moms or the housewives or whatever. And
I
I
don't
was
want to say
like, I
gone
don't
are the
think gone
days.
are the
I'm about to say I
days.
don't want to say gone are the days. I don't think so, but
Yeah, I don't
yeah,
think gone are the days, but he was just saying that like, times don't look, it just doesn't look the way that it used to.
yeah,
Whereas there are a lot of women who now would choose to work before they would choose to stay home.
but does that still eliminate gender roles?
I don't think so.
That's just saying that's that would be attributed to if like it was a gender role that the man goes to work and the woman doesn't.
Right. But see, but I like that you just said that, because I think that that's where we start getting lost, right?
Right.
Because I think again, it's that pitting against one another, and to me, the gender roles are what you just said, right? What we contribute to the family, right?
Right.
When it comes to your household, when it comes to your relationship, this is Darah speaking. I think that what works in your home is what works for your home.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's something that you have to explain to other people. So even if, you wanted me to take out the trash and that works for me because that's what I do, that's not, to me, I think we're starting to get in this kind of weird space where we are like, oh girl, you take out the trash, and it's just like, but it doesn't have to work for your home.
Yeah.
I don't think men trash. I do, Darah
You think
does.
men are trash?
No, man
Sorry,
like
nah, I'm
takes out
messing
the
with you. I'm
trash.
messing with you. Yeah.
There was a time, but we're not talking about that.
Recent.
But no, I in my mind, it's not like, okay, man has to take out trash. But if I am in a structural place, right, and those things have been established, yes, that's what I expect you to do. If something happens to you, no, the trash is not going to pile up. Right now, there is no man in my house, so I have to take out the trash.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So we're not like,
And
I
there's
feel
no
like when you
woman
get
in my
into
house,
that,
so I gotta cook.
there we go. There we go.
Right.
But I don't think that that's an assigned thing for a woman either.
So, all right. So this might be a little controversial.
Okay.
I do think it's like men take out the trash.
Mm-hmm.
Men, gas the car. And I'll say this: the reason I say that, like men open the doors, do these things, because I believe all of that is like a level of protection.
Protection. Yes.
Yeah.
I can see that.
And so I feel, because when you take out the trash, most of the time when the trash is being taken out, it's like early in the morning, late at night.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in today's time, there's like a lot of people preying on women.
Mm-hmm.
And there is like no, what's the word? Reservation.
Mm-hmm.
Young women, older women.
There are no rules anymore.
Yeah, doesn't matter your ethnicity, they're preying on women.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel, plus we are stronger vessels.
Mm-hmm.
Our bodies are just stronger. Our bodies as men are made to take on more.
Mm-hmm.
Even the skinniest man, he's just made. I'm not saying he's made to take on more than the biggest woman, but you match him up, 110-pound man, 110-pound woman. The man is built to be able to take on more. Like bones, it's legit scientifically bone density and everything. He's meant to be able to take on more. So there's a level of protection, responsibility that he has. And so I do believe that for, when it comes to things, anything, whether it's opening the door, taking out trash, anything, even just when it comes to just being alert, like, look, I don't even want you driving at night. Like, don't even, let me take care of it. I believe men should do those things. I don't care if somebody opposes that. I just believe men should do those things. And I believe women should do the things that'll cater to the man to help make it easier for him to do those things, whatever the case may be. But
yeah, that's how you feel.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'm a little bit more non-traditional in that sense because I don't necessarily feel like that. I think for me, it's like what works for the home is what, because I think that some men are stellar cooks, like amazing cooks. You know
I'm
what I
not
mean?
saying that. Yeah.
But not even necessarily restaurant style, but just like that's what they want to do. Like
They
really
probably cook
delight in
better than
that.
the wife.
Exactly. And it's
Yeah.
like, so of course he would need some nourishment. Like if we go by that standard, he would probably need nourishment in order to like provide that. But he's the one who cooks. You know what I mean? But I see also like not being on the defense side because I also see like if my husband were to be the one who cooks the food, I don't mind being the one who grocery shops
Or cleans the dishes.
or cleans the dishes or sets the table or whatever. Like you said, like it's a balancing act. Like, but I don't necessarily go off of like, who's stronger or anything like that or who's made a certain way. For me, it would matter like what have we discussed? What works for our home? Because and that's why, when it comes to that, I don't necessarily believe that it's a gender role more than it's just the role in which you're playing. And then that's your gender, right? How it works for the family and how we can better work like a well-oiled machine so that we can be better for, this unit. So that's just how I see it.
That's how you feel.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
Do you, when you are in relationship, are there things that you expressly, state, like you express to the woman which you are with, that you're going to do, like, or is that something no? Okay. Is that something like you're waiting for, like marriage to establish?
No.
Okay.
I just hasn't been verbalized like that. I haven't been in a relationship with like, look, I'm the man. So I'm gonna pay the rent.
The trash.
Well, I
And
feel like some things are just expected. I'm pretty sure if you was living with a man, your man, and that trash piled up, you're gonna look at him like.
Well, he would know I'm not taking out the trash though. Like that's why.
Does it have to be verbalized?
I am verbal though because I don't feel like anybody should have to assume anything, especially not again in 2023.
So,
I cannot assume that that you're supposed to take out the trash. And the reason why I say that, let me tell you why I say that, is because I've been in situations where not where the man didn't take out the trash because I feel like that's like that's like a very minute thing, but it could be like him paying rent or. Like things like that. Like I've been in situations where it's like you do have to establish something. Y'all have to have a conversation because I had one boyfriend who's like, I need to be paying your rent because I'm your man, and it's like, but we don't even live together. He's like, but you my woman though.
Should let him pay it.
I didn't let him pay it.
I would have.
Exactly.
You know what? You're right.
Because I didn't understand that. To me, it was just like, and I'm not knocking nobody who
benefit from it.
to me, I felt like I wasn't there with him because I feel like there's a protection. Again, if we're thinking about the protection that a woman provides for a man and a man provides for a woman, there is a level of protection that I was trying to provide for him. To me, it seemed like he was just on flex mode. It was all flex, 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 flex. Even if he didn't have it, it was like flex. I was trying to be protective of him in a sense of you don't have to flex for me. Really, if you're going to spend this money, then let's spend it on experience. Right. But just to say that you're going to pay my rent because you're my man, what are you doing? You know what I mean? It didn't seem genuine.
Yeah.
You know, it was just
Also,
very.
that's a different thing.
Yeah, it was just very like, well, you know, I got it, so I'm gonna do it, and I'm your man, and like, you know, I'm beating on my chest. Like I can, for me, that type of stuff is a turn off.
Right.
Right. But if it's a genuine thing, like if I'm struggling, if I can't pay my rent and my man is like, yeah, like
sure
I would think that would be something that you would step up and do. Like, I don't have it, babe. Oh, bet. Here you go. Here's a stack. You know, go ahead and put this on next month. But for you to just say, I'm your man, I'm going to pay your rent, like to me, that just doesn't.
He was listening to Babyface. Like,
hey,
I'll pay your rent.
Right. But then some girls would be like, girl, you stupid. And that's them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But just, you know, just speaking on that, like I don't think
I
that
get it. You said you feel like he's flexing. It wasn't genuine.
Yeah, it didn't seem.
Could have been some ulterior motives. Could have been that. I pay the rent in your house.
Right. So you gonna drop them draws.
I wasn't even going there, but pretty much.
I wasn't even going there, but pretty much. Okay. But no, yeah, so that's what I don't remember where I was going with my point.
It doesn't matter because you start talking dropping draws. I think that's what we should go to next.
Okay,
regards to gender roles and sex.
Okay, because I didn't even think about that.
You did it.
You go ahead and start.
What comes to your mind when you think about gender roles and sex?
I don't know. I haven't really given it any thought, but I'm pretty sure I have a point. So you go ahead and get that started.
All right. I'm not getting freaky on deep skydiving. That's not what I'm doing. But
I think it should be you.
I don't really talk freaky.
Okay.
Anyway, so it's not. Yeah, that's not me.
I can't say that. I didn't.
Huh? Oh. It's reserved freaky.
Me?
No, me.
Oh, okay, cool.
And it's not really all super. I don't know. It's case by case basis. That's neither here nor there. But sex and marriage.
Yeah.
Because that's what I believe sex is reserved for. Marriage.
Excuse me.
In the scriptures, it does say, like, women, do not withhold yourselves from your men. Mm-hmm. Men do not withhold yourselves from women. Mm-hmm. So you both have roles in this thing to give up the sex. Mm-hmm. Right? God knew he made sex good. Mm-hmm. He knew he was going to like it. That's why I don't believe, like, we should be waiting long to get married. Mm-hmm. Wait until you're older to get married. But that's a different topic. We probably get hit on a later date. But we talked about this before. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast, but we talked about it before where women need to feel something to, you know, want to be intimate with their partner. And the slightest thing could be off and they'll just be turned off. Like if a woman has a security issue, she feels like she's worried about whether the bill's going to get paid, she might not be able to get intimate with you. Mm-hmm. For us, it's like, let me see a little cheek real quick. All right, let's go. Mm-hmm. Ain't got because it's physical. You gotta see. It's physical. Yeah, we see it. Trust me. You could be fully clothed, we still see the cheek. Yeah. So we visual. Mm-hmm. But for us, it's physical. Mm-hmm. It's more physical than it is like a mental thing or emotional thing. Right. You correct me if I'm wrong. For women, it may be a more emotional thing or mental thing than it is physical. Mm-hmm. So I say that to say, because it says do not withhold from your partner. Mm-hmm. You have a role. So because we're wired differently, as a woman, you're wired this way. As a man, I'm wired this way. It is my role. You shouldn't be withholding anyway, like not intentional, but it is my role that if this is what's wrong, then let me make every attempt possible to fix this thing, to appease this thing, because it has my woman, you know, not being able to meet me here in this space. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, and as a woman, understand that, yes, my husband has these needs. Like, my body is not my own anymore. Mm-hmm. At least let me make an attempt, let me communicate why I'm feeling like this. If you're able to, try your best to communicate why I'm feeling like this, why I'm not able to meet you in this space, why I can't get intimate with you, whatever. But at least let me communicate that and at least make me attempts, as my role, as your wife, Let me make these attempts to meet you here with this thing. If that made any sense.
It does. I mean, I have a client who constantly talks about this I don't know if she's a pastor or not, but he went to marriage counseling, him and his wife, and she had this thing called take what you need. And they literally, like, that's a rule for them, like, in their marriage. He was like, they talked about it before
like
they
that
got
rule.
married, and he was like, it's gonna be some times where, I ain't really, but it's like,
Yeah.
take what you need.
I like that rule.
Of course you would. I haven't talked to his wife about it though. So you know how you hear something from somebody, they just so gung ho, and they just like be telling you that exactly.
She might not feel the same.
Exactly. Like he seems like
he takes more than I do. Like,
right?
Yeah.
He's always take.
He needs more than I do.
Yeah.
But I need you to need more then.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I think because women feel like sex for us, which may be true, maybe not. I don't know. I think women feel like sex is like a favor for us every time, whether they get theirs or not. Like, you're good, even whether I'm good or not. I think women feel like that. Is that true?
That like long as y'all get satisfaction, then then
like,
it's
even
okay,
if,
we're done with that chore.
It's like you can have sex with me for me, and you can have sex with me for you, but it's still for me.
Oh, I see.
Like, you could want it, but you still feel like you
did.
You
I
good
did.
regardless.
Right,
Yeah.
I did something for you.
Yeah.
I personally don't see it that way. I feel like when sex becomes, so for me, I have to say that the part of marriage that can be tricky for me is that part, because when sex becomes a chore for me, then it's like, it's kind of cringy.
Just make it not a chore.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want it to be a chore, but I realize, like, if we're going off of like take what you need principality, I don't want it, but you can take whatever you want. And it's like,
you could still sit here and watch Grey's Anatomy while I do what I do.
Exactly. That's what it's given. That's literally how he explained it.
What's
and it's
that
like
problem?
that it gives like property.
Gives like
me.
rapey vibes.
It does.
Can't rape your wife.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, but what happens when you do?
My man used to always say, he's like, look, it's so wrong. He said, either we having sex or I'm having sex.
Either we having sex or I'm having sex. Yeah, that's what it's given, rapey.
Meaning you're going to either participate in this or not.
Yeah, it's very rapey. It is. But like you said,
I shouldn't be laughing at that.
I mean, most guys who I know probably would laugh at that. But it's weird to me. Like, I don't know. I guess for me, it's like, how is that? I don't know. Maybe it'll be revealed to me. Like,
what's going to work in your household is going to work in your household.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But like I said, I believe that it's still the man's role. So you say if it feels like a chore, you're not with it. I feel like it's still the man's role to know that. If I know that you think that it's a chore for you now to do this thing, it's my job to make you not feel like that.
Right.
To make this not be the situation.
Mm-hmm. And vice versa.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I mean, not that it... because I don't think that men are just like, rev up and go type. I think that there are still, because even like, now, DeVal and Kadeen.
Yeah.
Like his whole thing was, I could just take it. Like, that whole logic of like, take whatever you want. But he's like, I don't want that though.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not participating, exactly. Yeah. Like I don't enjoy having sex with you and you're just like, when you finish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just let me know when you're done. Like,
I want you to enjoy
it. Yeah. So that's why I think that, what you're saying is valid. Like,
most
it is. Huh?
No, go ahead.
No, what I'm saying is, like, it is valid what you're saying, but I think that it goes both ways in that sense too.
Right.
Like I feel like it's a chore, I also don't want to be making it seem like you just like getting like, come get,
It shouldn't
all
be,
right, hurry up.
It shouldn't be a selfish thing, period. Like, I don't want to have sex with you just because I want to have sex.
Right.
Like, I want to have sex with you because I want to make love to you.
Right.
Like, this is, you my wife.
Right. But I think that
I
there
want to
are
enjoy this
those
time.
instances where
Yeah,
you do have people who don't have that balance too of like their sex
yeah,
drives. I know a lot of people who are in marriages like that who just
yeah,
it's like she ain't at it or she is and he not and or vice versa.
yeah.
And not a lot nine times out of 10 it's usually the other way around. It's usually that the man has a higher sex drive than the woman.
I've seen a
But I
couple of
know.
he nots,
Me
which
too.
is strange to me.
It's very strange,
If you go
but it
back and listen,
happens.
to one of the What Did You Hear Me Says with Kendra
Uh-huh.
and what's my man name? I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. Not Kendra. What's her name?
Who?
Kendall. I said Kendra. I'm sorry. Forgive me.
Oh, Kendall and Sinatra.
Yeah, Kendall and Sinatra. If you go back and you listen to it, and she was talking about how she was pregnant, and she said she had that drive, and he didn't, and that's why I was confused because I was like, you didn't want it, like,
Yeah.
and that's why she was like, what you confused about, what you don't get, and I just didn't want to say it at that time, but I'm thinking like, why the hell Kendall ain't want to. But that was my confusion. But I do know a couple men that married in their sex drive had went down. It's not most men, I'll tell you that.
And it could be because of different things. I mean, it may not be because
Right.
their wife is unattractive or they really actually don't want it. It could be like
Their focus
something's
is on
going
something
on.
else.
Yep.
Yeah.
Something going on with their focus. It could be something's going on with, their manhood. You know what I mean? Like,
Possibly.
biologically something is like not
Possibly.
yeah, right. So and the same thing with women, right? Like let's acknowledge that too. Like there are some women their libido is not high because of their hormone levels, right? Or
But we don't have to be horny to want
to
sex.
want sex, right? But
Like,
that's what
why
I'm saying.
men
If
go take
ours is a
pills
mental
and everything.
thing,
Yeah.
right?
Ours is
Exactly.
like, I don't know what it is. Because it's like part
It's a blood
mental,
flow.
part
It's
physical, but we
yeah.
like, I just want some sex.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, like you said,
Yeah.
what works in one household doesn't necessarily have to work in another.
Yeah, you'll find your way.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah. What else? Anything else for that?
My libido.
You're crazy. Anything else for generals?
I don't know. I can't think of anything.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't really have much more to say about
They
that.
might.
I think what the people.
Yeah,
Yeah, hit us up about what y'all might want us to talk about in that regard. I just think it's personal. I think what you said in the beginning is not personal, right?
Yeah.
I think that's pretty universal when we have that foundation.
Right.
But I think that as it pertains to like those little
What
ticky
works
things
in your household.
boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you want your wife on the roof because you're scared of heights and she know how to like hammer the roof in, I'm not gonna be like, bro, what kind of man are you?
I
on the roof.
Like, man, you better get your ass up on that roof with your wife.
Yeah, but that's
I can
just
see
because
her.
you
I
are
can see
that
her
way.
up there. I can see her up there, but bro, you better get up there with her.
That's because that's
You rather have your wife in that type of. So look, this is one thing that it is just me. It's just one thing I'm not going to do. I do this at work with other men, like with my apprentices or people that my crews. I would never ask them to do something that I wouldn't do, and I would always put myself out there in front to do it first. And so everybody that works with me knows that Zoe about it. He'll go do it, even if it's the nastiest stuff. I might gotta go inside some duct with some sound line and that stuff. You don't know what that is, but it's basically insulation. We get all on you. It itchy all freaking day. You're gonna have to go and take a cold shower for like 15, 20 minutes just to get it out. But I'm with it.
Yeah.
I would never have my wife do something where I feel like she's gonna be in danger unless I'm with her. That's just me. And I believe it. I don't care what anybody says. I do believe that no man should do that. Like no man should be fine with letting his wife be in a certain type of danger and he's not in there with her.
Okay. And I think that's a leadership thing too. Yeah. So I can get jiggy with that. I think also though, if she's a prized roofer, then let her roof. Right.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's anything wrong with
Let
you
her
being
roof.
up there. I don't think there's anything wrong with you being up there with her.
That's
Like
that's what I'm saying. Be up.
So the nails. Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
You in there.
you know what I mean? Like
hey,
supporting her.
Hey, where Darah at? Oh, she on the roof. The hell she doing?
Like, what you doing up?
What she doing on the roof? What you doing? Oh, I'm playing Call of Duty.
Yeah, no way. Yeah, no, I get that. And it's a support thing. Yeah. So I get that. I get where you're coming from with that. Yeah. So we're in agreement. We're in agreement with that.
Anything else?
Support your significant other.
Right.
In however way that they need.
Yes.
But also, men protect and love, and women nourish. Nurture.
I like it.
Yeah. Support.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boom. I like it. So
yeah, but like we always say, you make it work. You make it work in your household, however you see fit.
That part.
Yeah, I'm not saying like women should be the cooks. Women should be the ones laboring over the stove. That's not what I'm saying.
No, hell no.
I agree with you with the house case by case.
Yeah, for sure.
Basis.
For sure. Okay, cool. Our next relationship. Our next episode is going to be about
next topic is
if relationships are transactional.
Ooh.
I really want to talk about this. So, like, while I didn't have the heat for the gender roles, I definitely have the heat for this.
You want to just record it now?
No.
All right.
No,
so we can
and the only reason why is
this
because
and then start it back.
I feel like I want to interview people about that too, because I feel like transactions. Oh well, let me not start the podcast.
I'm about to say it's only one answer to this,
right?
Like, so, and I don't care what anybody says about that one. I'm gonna be firm.
Yeah, me too. I think we both have we think very similarly. When I like it when we don't think the same because it broadens my horizon. But I think that we do think often.
Oh, I could go.
Same.
You know, we was hate debaters. I can go and come up
and
with
do the opposite. Yeah, me too.
So.
I definitely could, but I definitely want to.
It won't make sense.
Some people about that.
It won't make sense, not for this topic.
Right.
Like if I have to oppose, it will not make sense.
Exactly.
It's gonna sound. I'm gonna make it sound
come
good.
Back to the same. Right.
I could be manipulative, make it sound real good, but it won't make sense because there's only one answer.
Yeah. So okay. So where can they reach us?
We need to start doing this in the beginning of the podcast because people might not even make it this far. But Deep Skydiving Podcast at gmail.com. Deep Skydiving Podcast, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube.
Yep.
And your favorite podcast channels.
Yep. All
platforms.
Of them.
Apple Podcasts.
Google
should
Podcasts,
be everybody's favorite podcast platform. Apple Podcasts should be. And Spotify. It should be between Apple and Spotify. Like anything else, I don't even know why you're on there. Ooh. But we're on them. We're on them.
Strong declaration.
Yeah, it was strong. You know, they ain't paying us. They start paying us, I start supporting them.
That part. Okay.
But wherever you listen to your podcast, is definitely where you can find us.
For sure. And in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, we want to encourage you all to make it work.
Make it work, please.
Love y'all.
Yeah, love you.